In today's Thin Thinking episode, I sit down with Hilary, a shift process graduate, a personal chef, whose story of weight, food, and self-image is both unique and deeply relatable. Growing up in New York with her father, who was a fashion photographer in the 1970s, Hilary was surrounded by the glossy, airbrushed, ultra-thin world of models. And even though her own weight fluctuations were in the range of just 12 to 15 pounds, the yo-yo cycle created an outsized emotional toll, fueling years of frustration, self-doubt, and the nagging belief that she was never enough. Now, 9 months into successful weight maintenance, Hilary has made peace not only with her body, but with herself. And in this conversation, we explore how she shifted her relationship with food, how she began to embrace her identity beyond the scale, and the practical mindset and lifestyle tools that helped her build confidence and freedom. So whether your struggle has been 10 pounds or 100, Hilary's journey offers you insights into the deeper emotional work that makes lasting change possible. So come on in. Did you know that our struggle with weight doesn't start with the food on your plate or get fixed in the gym? 80% of our weight struggle is mental. That's right. The key to unlocking long-term weight release and management begins in your mind. Hi there, I'm Rita Black. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, weight loss expert, best-selling author, and the creator of the Shift Weight Mastery process. And not only have I helped thousands of people over the past 20 years achieve long-term weight mastery, I am also a former weight struggler, carb addict, and binge eater. And after 2 decades of failed diets and fad weight loss programs, I lost 40 pounds with the help of hypnosis. Not only did I release all that weight, I have kept it off for 25 years. Enter the Thin Thinking podcast, where you too will learn how to remove the mental roadblocks that keep you struggling. I'll give you the thin thinking tools, skills, and insights to help you develop the mindset you need, not only to achieve your ideal weight, but to stay there long term and live your best life. Sound good? Let's get started. Hello, and wow, happy October. Come on in. I hope you are enjoying the fall up here in the Northern Hemisphere, and I hope you're enjoying the first buds of spring in the southern part of the world. We have a great month of episodes coming up, and by coincidence, it surely is by coincidence, although maybe it really is serendipity. I don't know. But I am interviewing Hilary, who is a personal chef and has had quite a career in the world of food. And later this month, I am interviewing the amazing chef Michelle, who I will be interviewing, like I said, who's also had a very interesting world of food career, spanning from nutritional management and being a personal chef and owning her own catering company. So we have women in the world of food and sharing about their weight loss journeys, because I remember myself being in the world of food as not like these ladies, they're pros, but back in the day when I was younger and trying to make a buck, going into people's homes and cooking for them and waitressing and just being surrounded by food all the time is quite a challenge. So Hilary shares some of that with us, and so does Michelle. Interestingly, Hilary didn't have a lot of weight to release on her journey, but as you might guess, it's not so much about the weight on your body, but the weight on your heart and your mind. So Hilary opens up about her life of yo-yoing and struggling with herself and how she found some inner peace. So that is what is on the menu for today as we dive in. So I can't wait to share my conversation. But before we do, I just want to remind you that if you have not come to my free masterclass with weight release hypnosis, I should say, called How to Stop the Start Over Tomorrow Weight Struggle Cycle and Begin Releasing Weight for Good. Why haven't you come? The links are in the show notes. You can come, and it's a perfect time of year to get focused and work on yourself, and really shift your mindset in this area of your life. We're going to talk a lot about mental freedom in this episode, and really it's beyond the weight. It's the freedom from that negative self-abusive relationship, freedom from the food noise, all of that stuff we get into in the masterclass. So www.shiftweightmastery.com/free, or hit up the show notes. The link is in there. And now let's join Hilary. Oh, well, I'm excited to have you here, Hilary. Welcome to the Thinking Podcast. Poor Hilary was just saying she just came home from a long shift, and I bet she's here and she's got a lot of energy. And so thank you. I really appreciate your time.
Of course.
Hilary, tell us a little bit about you, where you live, and your profession, which I think a lot of people might find very interesting.
Okay. I live in Connecticut. I've lived here for the past 13 years. Originally, I'm from Manhattan.
You grew up in Manhattan?
I grew up in Manhattan,
Oh, cool. Where in Manhattan? I'm curious.
East 94th Street mostly. My father was a professional fashion photographer,
Oh, how cool.
and we lived and worked, well, we lived and he worked in a three-floor brownstone. We didn't own it, it was rental. But it was nice because we had dogs and they would be in the studio, and then the third floor was the living quarters. So
And
it's an interesting way to grow up for sure.
did you help your dad out like with the fashion
No,
photographer?
no. Oh no. No, that was not my thing.
So you grew up in Manhattan. When did you leave?
I went to college, and that's when I left. And I always, my parents had a house outside of the city, and we went every single weekend without fail. And I loved it. So I was very fortunate. I had the best of both, but I really was never like a city kid.
Mm,
Uh, I didn't want to stay in the city with friends. I wanted to be out in the country. It was more free for me.
that makes sense. I could see that.
Yeah.
And you
So,
were growing up in Manhattan in the 70s?
70s and 80s.
Yeah, and it was
My
kind of a
Lord.
crazy city then too.
Oh,
Like a
it was
lot of
nuts.
crime
A lot
and
of crime. And I lived right on the edge of East Harlem.
yeah, you were
So,
like Spanish Harlem, right?
yeah. So, you go one block over and you don't want to be there at night.
No.
Yeah. So, I think that also played a part in why I wanted to get out of there
Yeah.
because it wasn't the most agreeable. Plus, my parents were really worried about me being like I never rode the subway. I rode the bus, because they
Interesting.
were so worried about me being on the subway.
Yeah. Yeah. Gosh, it's such a, and have you been back? I'm sure you have. It's such a
Oh yeah,
different
lots.
city.
It's
Like,
horrible. You know, I think I think only people who have grown up there understand. It's like people who come from other places and live, they
Mhm.
think it's fantastic. Or if they're young enough, and they have money, wow, what a fantastic place to live. Not for the ordinary person.
No,
No.
no.
It's so crowded now. It's filled with lots of people, and also the neighborhoods have changed so much. So I'm glad I'm not there anymore.
Yeah, I remember when I lived there in the 80s and it was just yeah, the neighborhoods were super cute. We were just in
Yeah,
Barcelona this year and it reminded me of New York in the 80s because it was just like you would go a couple blocks and it would be this next neighborhood with a different flavor.
right,
But
right.
but when the last time I was in Manhattan, it felt like I don't know, just had kind of gotten
Yeah,
smoothed out. Everything was
homogeneous.
thank you, homogenous.
Yeah,
Exactly. All right, so I'm sorry, we
yeah.
totally
I know.
sidetracked it,
Sorry.
but we could do a whole podcast on Manhattan,
Really?
but we're not here for that. So yeah, so now you live in Connecticut,
Yes.
and tell
And
us a little bit about your profession, which I think
now I'm a private chef. I've worked for the same family for the last 21 years. That's not how I started. I worked in restaurants in Manhattan. I've published 3 cookbooks. I've done a lot of different things in the food business. But when I had children, I needed to find something that was going to be flexible enough, and word of mouth from other friends who worked in the area in different places heard about this couple that was looking. And so I called, I interviewed, uh, and uh, I got the job. So, but it evolved over time. I started there 2 days a week, then three, and then it progressed to full time.
are you does did cooking start out of like, I know, maybe tell us a little bit about your struggle with weight. Like, when did you start feeling like you had
Ah,
some struggles there?
Well, you gotta understand that my parents were in the fashion industry,
Mm,
so there was a lot of pressure to be a certain way.
yeah.
I was not a heavy person, but I had some meat on me. And I think I want to say it affected me as early as 7 years old. I was aware. I was aware that I wasn't as thin as another 7-year-old girl, and I was very self-conscious about that.
Did
So,
did you see the models coming in?
oh
Like, did
yeah.
that play a role too? Like seeing,
Oh, absolutely. They were
you know,
gorgeous.
skinny 70s
Yeah.
models,
Yeah,
because that was the
exactly.
aesthetic, right? It
That
was
was
super, super
exactly.
skinny then.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that played a part for sure. So plus I was 5'2". They're all like 6 foot.
Right. Did your so your parents were in that world, and
Right.
did they ever mention, like, did they put you on a diet, or did you kind of, was it more self-imposed from the
No, no,
inside
no. It
out?
was my mother was going to Weight Watchers.
Hmm.
I don't know, during the liver years.
I remember the liver years of Weight Watchers. For those of you who don't know, you had to eat
Yeah.
liver once a week.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So my mother was going, and then I went with her. I think I started when I was about 14. And that's, like an awkward, you know, time of your life when
Yeah.
you're changing a lot. So I went with her, which was fine, which was good because she understood. It was my father that put a lot of pressure on me
Hmm.
to be a certain way.
Mhm.
So that wasn't so great. Plus, we loved cooking and food.
Okay, I was
So,
going to say, when did the food, so was food
oh yeah.
part of this whole
So
thing?
very into food and wine and dining out and trying everything. There wasn't a food I wouldn't try because I used to get a real kick out of my school friends. I would tell them like last night my mother made calf's brains and they would go, ew. It's just, yes, that was the result I was looking for.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah,
So
I
your
was a
mom was experimental. She was a cook.
yes.
She was a
She was
chef.
she was a cook. She cooked at home a lot. They traveled in Europe a lot, so they tried to incorporate what they saw there into our home. My father was a very good cook too.
Hmm. That's cool.
And my grandfather, uh, who I didn't really have a long relationship with, but he had jumped ship. He was Greek. He jumped ship, uh, and he became a fish cook, I think. So when he found out that I was doing it, he was absolutely horrified. Like, how could you ever want to do that? So, but
Wow.
it's offered me a nice, it's been a very interesting career.
Was that what you wanted to do from the start? Like when you got exposed to that as a child, you were like, this is what I want to do. I want to
No,
be in this world of food and dining and
no,
cuisine.
no. Originally I wanted to teach.
Uh-huh.
I was thinking teaching English. And then I started cooking at home, and the college I went to was right near the Culinary Institute. So a girlfriend and I went there for lunch, and that sold me.
Oh,
So I just was so mesmerized by the whole thing. But I don't know if you know Alice Waters. She owned
yes.
Chez Panisse. I always thought that I was going to be in that kind of environment, which was very hip,
Hmm. I've been to Chez
sophisticated,
Panisse.
but
Yeah.
not stuffy.
Yeah.
And my experience was totally not that at the school. I learned a great deal,
Mhm.
but I was with was like it was like the army.
I've heard that. My sister-in-law went to the Cordon Bleu, and I
Yeah,
think it was in New York, or maybe it was London. I don't remember. She's an amazing cook, but she did say it was just like it was intense. It
it,
was,
it was intense. Couldn't wait.
yeah, it seems like very like, oh, we'll do this today or that
Right.
today. It's like, no, this is you're gonna learn meat. This
Yeah,
this preparation of
exactly.
meat, and you're gonna do it well, and
That
then you're gonna clean up.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
it was a lot of
Oh
cleaning,
yeah.
a lot of
A lot of work.
discipline.
A lot of discipline, a lot of really dysfunctional characters. And I was also one of the few women in my class. I think there
Mm,
were three of us, and it was not easy.
yeah. Well, I would imagine back then it wasn't.
It was not easy, and it was not great. But I was determined. And I found that restaurant work was not where I wanted to be. So I started doing food styling for television and magazines. I worked at Red Book magazine as a recipe tester. So, I've had a varied career within the food business,
Right.
and it's been very interesting. It's been fun.
Yeah. Has that career uh, fed the struggle at all, or was that kind of existing
Oh
outside
no,
of
it
your
was
own
torture.
struggle? Yeah. So
I was
talk about
tortured. I
that.
was
Like,
tortured.
tell us how the struggle wove into this time that you were going through. Like your, I mean, because I know maybe you can tell people like you've released 12 pounds, but it's
Yeah.
like, even though it's 12 pounds, it's like a lot of weight, like
Yes.
psychic weight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I think I also was, yeah, I mean, talk about tortured, to be in the food business and then also needing to be thin.
Yeah.
The two of those things don't go well together unless you're naturally thin. There are people who are.
Yeah.
But I really was a tortured soul throughout it. So much so that at one point wanted to get out of it. And I was working in a retail clothing store until I felt like, well, maybe there's other things I can do besides working in a restaurant. And that's when I started exploring other avenues. And it got better. It got better. But I've always struggled with you know, loving to eat and also restricting myself. And when I found your program, it was like, oh my God, hallelujah. I mean, it's now I had done hypnosis a long time ago
Okay.
when I was younger. And it
For
worked.
weight or for
No,
something?
no, for something else.
Okay.
I actually, I actually was a horsewoman for years, and I got really nervous about jumping over fences. And I went to this hypnotist who, I mean, it was amazing the change that happened for me. So I knew about it. I always thought it was a great thing, but I never found any program to do it with food. And
Mm,
it's, it's a mind blower. I
mm.
mean, it has changed my life.
I'm so glad to hear that. I when you I'm glad you found it. And what has changed for you, like from the inside out? Like, what is it, the relationship with it? Because I know, maybe tell us a little bit about your weight release journey. And
Sure. I
did
mean, I've,
you go up, before you do, can you just,
yeah,
it's like when you were struggling, would you go up 10, 12, down to
yeah.
12, just like up and down and up and
Oh
down?
yeah. Oh yeah, yo-yo, totally yo-yo. And with all the shame and disgust if I had 50 pounds to lose.
Yeah. I mean, I
Same.
was saying to Hilary before we turned on record that it's for 10 pounds for somebody who's struggled with those 10 pounds all their lives, it is like a lot of the same amount of shame, the same
Yeah.
torture,
Torture.
self-torture,
Self-torture. Yep.
self-abuse. And it can be very extreme because it's almost it's weird because it's only 10 pounds. So it, to
Right.
even that self, like, what's wrong with you? Because it's only 10 pounds,
Exactly.
you know?
Exactly.
And there is that other layer of self-shame that you were saying, that people would look at you and go, well, what's wrong with you? Like, there's no, you don't have a problem.
Yeah.
But it's not
Exactly.
just about the weight, it's about this relationship with yourself and food.
Yes. Relationship with myself, totally beating myself up, working out like a maniacally to try and keep
Mhm.
the weight off. Um, I have stopped that, which is I'm a regular exerciser and I love it, but I'm not a lunatic. I I have I have given up the lunacy, and it's very moderate and reasonable. Everything I do now is moderate and reasonable. I don't deny myself cakes and cookies, but I regularly live m much more cleanly than that,
Mhm.
food-wise. And with the meditation and the hypnosis that you were offering, it it's stuck. It just
Mhm.
feels like it has stuck.
Well, so today, like, how does it feel that's different than it was? How long have you been on this journey, like shifting?
Well, with you,
Mhm.
I think it's been about 2 years.
Yeah. Okay.
I think so. Um, I started feeling much more confident that I could handle myself, and really started to think about why I was eating when I was eating, because I've always been an emotional eater. So whenever, happy, I go eat something, sad, I go eat something. And I'm much more cognizant of that and don't feel the need. My my first year with you was the first year that I did not gain weight during the holidays.
Hmm.
Then I knew I was onto something. Without hand wringing, you
Right.
know,
Feeling deprived or feeling like
no,
you were,
no, not at all. Plus I have, established, when I like to be at a certain weight, I give myself, 2 pounds either way. And if I get to that 2 pound mark, I'm really serious about taking control of that. Like I don't let it go.
well, I think, you've been at maintenance weight for how long now?
Um, maybe 8 months, 9 months.
Yeah. I mean, many people that I speak to about maintenance, it is surprising. I think it's a surprising journey to many people
Yeah.
because it's really
It's harder.
it's a journey of being with yourself
Yeah.
in a way that's very intimate and very you have to, like you said, you get 2 pounds up, and it's not like the old critic coming in and slapping
No.
down and
Yeah,
saying
no.
only chicken
Yeah.
and broccoli for you, but it's like,
Right.
okay, kid, we've
Know
got
how
some
you feel.
choices, and what are we going to
Yeah.
do? And let's get into some action here. And there's no shame,
No.
but there is an awareness. And I think that level of awareness, I was talking to somebody yesterday, maybe you can weigh in on this about weight maintenance, because they've been maintaining their weight for about the same amount of time as you. And it's sort of a surprise that like, there's a level of awareness that
Right.
you have, but it's not that same focus that you have when you're in weight release mode. But you are still, especially in the first year, I think you're
Get out.
you're figuring it out. You're going
Yeah.
through, I think you have to go through all the seasons and all that stuff to kind of,
Right.
and I think the longer you're in it, the more confidence you have and the less awareness that you need, except when the scale goes up. And that's why the scale is a powerful tool, and it's not a self-shaming tool if you can be a scientist about it. But
I was really, really good at losing weight. Oh my God. I could lose weight like nobody's business if I put
well,
my mind
how
to
would
it.
you lose weight, like when you were in the middle of a restaurant, or like would you just stop
Well,
eating?
yeah, I wouldn't eat,
Yeah,
or I'd eat very little.
right.
I taste. Of
Yeah.
course, you're constantly having to taste things. But yeah, I realized and I've hit maintenance before with other
Mhm.
programs, but I realized that it's all about the losing that's more exciting than the maintenance. The
Mhm.
maintenance is the part where you get to, everyone said, "Oh, you look great" a million times, and then it's just that you look great all the time. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So,
Yeah.
you lose the compliments. You you're not sure if you have a real reason to continue on
Mhm.
this journey, and also maintaining. I don't know about anybody else, but it's like all bets are off. All of a sudden, you've lost the weight, and boom, you're put into the universe to sort of fend for yourself with not a lot of support. Because the whole idea, whatever program is out there, is that you will gain the weight back so that you
Mhm.
can go back to Weight Watchers or wherever and lose it again. And it's just like a circle, right?
Right. But where, with this person I was speaking with, we were talking about how mastery and maintenance mastery is, it's kind of like, because long-term permanent weight management is kind of a chronic condition, right? Like, it's meaning that you'll always, it's I was I and I've never had lupus, but I know people who have autoimmune diseases.
Yeah.
And when you eat in a certain way, like when you eat in a way that helps your body keep the lupus or whatever in remission, and that's not restrictive, but it's just in a healthy or whatever way for that, your body, for that condition a lot of times can stay in remission.
Right.
And then if you get off track with that, you might have a flare up, and then you go back to your way that works for your body.
Well,
And
I
and
learn.
does that
Yeah,
make
I mean, I
sense?
think you learn, yes, you learn that, oh, that doesn't work. This that that thing that I do is not working anymore. So
Yeah,
because I don't get anything from it except feeling lousy that I ate too much ice cream or whatever it is.
yeah. And I think it's that mental freedom that comes from finding that like
Yeah,
place that you like. Because I've been talking to a lot of people about weight maintenance. And it's like you said, it's like after you stop losing, you're digging deeper and finding that the real reason to stay on your journey is the mental freedom,
yeah,
that feeling of agency that you have over yourself, your life, your body,
right.
but also that feeling of peace in your mind, being free from the obsession.
Right. When your world is just about how many calories you're eating or how many points you're having in a day, you're not really dealing with the inner stuff that's going on, because, this is an inside job, whatever the eating thing.
Mhm.
So I felt like with your program, I also felt like before I started, actually, I said to myself, you are wasting time. You
Mm,
are wasting your life by focusing so much on this. And wouldn't it be great to be free of that? Because then
mm.
you could spend time doing really important things that you want to do?
Yeah. You realize that it is keeping you from being you.
Yeah.
And
But I'm 65.
yeah.
It's taken me, you know, I don't know, 50 years to figure that out.
Yeah.
That's a
Well,
long time to have your head in the sand?
well, yeah. I mean, I don't know that your head has exactly been in the sand, but I totally understand. Um, but I'm glad you're in a good place. How's your relationship with your inner coach?
Oh, very cool. Right now, very stable.
Yeah, good.
Uh, yeah, I didn't name her or anything.
Oh, well, you don't need to name your
Yeah, but I do feel like uh we're much more aligned. How's that?
yeah.
We think on the same plane now. So I I do get reminded, she does remind me, remember, and that's all it takes for me to, just relax, take a deep breath, and realize that, for being under stress, that eating an ice cream sandwich is not going to make you feel better.
Mm,
Recognizing that and also trying to remember what the feelings were when you did that and how you felt before. If you can do that, that to me is like medicine.
yeah. That all that is so powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And we
eh,
don't get that when we're in that diet mode. You can't get to
oh
that.
God, no.
Yeah.
No. It's a trap. It's a terrible trap. And the diet industry is is just wretched. They take people for, they take advantage of people
Yeah.
who are really desperate and will try absolutely anything
Yeah.
uh, to get rid of the feelings that they have.
Yeah. And it puts us, that struggle puts us in it makes us very vulnerable to look for stuff outside of us when it's
Yeah,
really, it is like you said, it's an inside job and you are the magic. You
yeah.
are the key. So I'm glad you found it. Well, for what are you looking forward to in this upcoming year for you as far as just your health and your
Oh,
life?
well, knock wood, I'm feel healthier than I ever have been. I'm exercising a lot, but
What do you
not
like to do for exercise, Hilary?
well. I'm not sure I'm supposed to say the name, but you can bleep it out. I've started doing Orange Theory,
Oh,
which
that
is
I've
which
heard a
is
lot of
really
people speak very highly about Orange
which
Theory.
is funny because I don't really love a lot of loud music, but
Mhm.
they play it so loud that you can't focus on anything else but moving one foot in front of the other. And it's just great. It's an hour, I'm out of there, and I get on with my day and I do it very early, so I feel like, oh, I have the whole day ahead of me to just not even worry about it.
So you get up,
So,
go there, and then go to work.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, that probably makes you feel awesome
it
because
does.
it does get your blood moving
Yeah, my serotonin goes through the roof.
yeah.
Yeah,
And probably the music gets your brain going
yeah,
and all
it
of that
does.
stuff. So
It
that's
does.
cool. I like it.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I've heard very good things about it. And you wear something, right? So that you
Yeah,
can
it's a
see it
monitor.
as a
Now
monitor.
I'm sure they skew it because after an hour it says you burn 435 calories. And I think, yeah, sure, buddy. Yeah,
Well, that's interesting. You might, yeah, they probably, if you were
it's a
a heart rate
they've got
monitor,
to,
yeah,
right? I mean, to
I,
keep you
I don't
engaged.
know. I
You know,
maybe not. I don't know. I
I
remember
don't
wearing, going to spin and thinking I was burning like 500 calories. And then I got myself a polar heart rate monitor,
Yeah,
one of those
yeah,
things that you
yeah,
put in
yeah. I
your
used
heart.
to wear that.
Yeah. And then
Hmm.
it was like
Yeah.
235
I
calories. I was
know.
like, what?
Like what? Yeah, exactly. You gotta be kidding.
Oh, but that was a big chuckle I had. And then I
Yeah,
was like, then from then on, it was pretty cynical about like
right. And I didn't, in the end, I don't care. I don't include it in my daily
right.
caloric count thing. I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. Well, there's so many other like the reason to exercise every morning,
Yeah,
especially now above the age of 60, is
yeah.
also just to keep it going and keep your muscles going and just
Well, that's I,
everything, your
you know,
brain
I was a
going.
I was a runner when I turned 50. I decided I'm going to do a triathlon. So I trained for one and it was great. I had a fun time and I thought, oh, I'll keep doing this. And then that fell off because I got nervous riding my bike around where I live. It's very hilly. People are very distracted on their phones. And I just said, nah, I can't afford to lose my right hand. So the chopping hand. So I stopped doing that. But I was running. I was doing a lot of running, and I just love the feeling of being outside and breathing fresh air. The reason why I did Orange Theory was because they do weights, and that is my
Yeah.
weak point. I don't I'm not so driven to do that, but since I've been taking these classes and it makes a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does. So I'm glad I'm doing that. That's the best thing I could have done for myself.
Good for you. That's great. When you were releasing your 10 to 12 pounds, um, did you take it slow? I mean, because I think a lot of people who, of our listeners who may be in the same place as you, like only have that or are on there, as we were talking about before we turned on record, that people can have a significant amount of weight to release and then they get down to that last 20, 10. That's
Yes.
where it takes a different kind of focus.
Yeah,
And
it does.
so
But I
did
kept
you,
telling, sorry,
sorry, no, please.
I kept telling myself, this is going to work. You just have to keep doing what you're doing.
Mm,
And I was able to talk to myself that way because in the past, I would throw up my hands and say, this is ridiculous. I'm going to do something else. Like you say, start again on Monday. Now I try another program. But I really felt confident that I just had to stick with it.
yeah.
And it really helped me.
Well, stick with yourself.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's that muscle, that tenacity muscle of just not giving up on yourself because it's not, when we abandon ship to go find another shiny penny diet
right,
or thing, you're losing such a huge lesson, which is just staying with yourself in that moment and saying,
right.
what's missing? What do we need?
Yeah.
let's just keep going. You've got this kid, and like I said, that intimate relationship you really build with yourself, like you would,
I
to,
think you taught me also to take it on as a challenge, not as a life sentence,
mm,
where y- when something wasn't working, instead of, feeling sorry about it, what could I do differently next time? Was a really helpful approach because instead of beating myself up and feeling bad,
yeah,
because I just would tell myself, look, this is going to work, but maybe you're eating too many calories or whatever it was, to try and problem solve as
yeah,
opposed to, self-abuse.
yeah. That's so key. That's so critical. And I do think that in that last leg of the journey, meaning like that last 10 to 15 pounds, you are really honing in on that, the right amount of, I'm going to say this probably inelegantly, but just how much do I need to live life at my ideal weight? How can I fill that place with food I enjoy, but that stabilizes me and keeps me going and keeps my brain free from feeling addicted and wanting more food. And that that last 10 to 15 pounds is really dialing that in.
Yeah,
And that takes a lot of self-awareness, a lot of self-questioning. And
right.
and it also takes
And
getting kindness.
kindness to yourself, for crying out loud. If you if you're a person who had 100 pounds to lose and now you have 10 more, you've got to focus on the wonderful thing it is that you lost 90. I
Yeah,
mean, that's awesome.
that's
And
progress.
I think our habit is to not recognize where we've come from, and take pride in that, and know that it's worked for 90 pounds, it's going to work for another 10.
Yeah. And it's that just dialing in that who why, like, well, why release 10 more pounds? Like, what,
Right.
why? Like, why is that important to my life? And really getting clear and aligning with, like, yourself. I think you're explaining it really well, Hilary, like that, just understanding that it's a headspace you live in more than anything else,
Yeah.
and really being able to make mistakes, because
Yes.
I think a lot of dialing all of this in is you have to be willing to do trial and error is going to happen in order.
Especially the first year of maintenance. I mean,
Mhm.
do you think I've been perfect? Forget it. I've,
No, not if you're like me.
no, and the thing that's different is that I know what I can do to correct that,
Yeah,
and I'm not going to die.
yeah.
I'm very lucky. I have to take stock in that fact. So, yes, am I going to have a huge ice cream cone once in a while? You better believe I am. But it doesn't have to define me.
Well, and it doesn't have to be the end. Like, I think the, getting back on track is a wonderful muscle to, just like, I think the more times you get back on track after getting off track, the more confident you become, because
Yeah,
you know that you can do it. It's just like,
yeah,
okay, I got off track, I'm getting back on track. And that really is the heart and soul of consistency.
yeah.
And I don't think people get that until they really get in it and start, living from that.
Really working it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But really learning to forgive themselves, really learning to learn, like you said, if you lose, don't lose a lesson. Like, what can I problem solve here? What is the challenge here?
right.
And that's really the key. So that's wonderful. If you had, um, I always ask everybody this question. So I don't know if you've heard any of my interviews, but if somebody was starting out and you wanted to just say one thing to them, that, like, that first step, that you would have them take,
Hmm.
what would that be? Because it sounds like you made that step before you started the shift or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was like, what would that step be?
That's a good question. Uh, well, I think it would probably be when you think you can't go any further, believe that you can because you
Mm,
can.
I love that. Yeah. You know, I say this and I think people hear it but then they forget it, is that most people who really have accomplished long-term weight management have gained and lost over 250 pounds in their life before they're
Oh,
finally
yeah. Oh,
successful.
yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, so that's a good one. I like that very, very much because it's like, it's not about, I had a mentor once that it wasn't about weight, but it was about self-development. And it was like, we spend most of our life trying to search for gold in this big field, and we just go and dig all these shallow little holes rather than just keeping on going and digging deeper and deeper.
Yeah,
And
that's a
and
good image.
and I think it's just time to dig deeper. And because
Right.
that's where the gold is. It really
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Hilary, this has been amazing. And it's
Yeah.
so
Thank you so
great to get to
much.
know you and your
Yeah.
fascinating life. Like, it sounds like it could be a book.
Well, it might be. You never know.
Oh, well, what cookbooks? I didn't ask. What cookbooks did
Oh,
you do?
well,
Please
they're
tell
all
us.
out of print now. Is that
But I'm
embarrassing?
fascinated to hear what kind
Oh,
of books they
the
were.
the first cookbook I ever did was called Great Grilling,
Mm.
and it was I worked with a friend. He did the photography, I did the food styling and the recipe development. So it was a really fun project to do. And then after that, I was co-authoring Garden Entertaining and the International Burrito. So basically, you can put anything in a wrap. That's
Right.
even peanut butter and jelly.
I love it. Oh, how fascinating. Oh, how
So
wonderful. Oh, well, thank you for sharing
yeah,
everything with us. And I know you got to get to bed. It's been a
yeah,
long
no,
day,
it's fine.
but,
Thank you.
but it
You're
was,
wonderful. I am so grateful to you. Thank you so much for everything you do. I
oh,
really can't thank you enough.
well, it's truly and sincerely my joy. So thank you very much for coming
Okay.
on, Hilary.
Take care.
Wow, thank you, Hilary. What a great conversation. And so, when you talk to somebody about somewhere you've lived and you kind of get to relive your experience there, I just totally could associate with I lived in New York in the 80s, but I remember that era of supermodels, and it's just so fascinating. Anyway, so thank you so much, Hilary. That was really powerful. And if you would like to join me for my free masterclass, please sign up. The links are in the show notes, or head up to www.shiftweightmastery.com/free and sign up. It's easy. You can access it from your phone, your tablet, your desktop. It's absolutely free. So I will look forward to seeing you there. And have a great week. And remember that the key, and probably the only key to unlocking the door of the weight struggle, is where? That's right, inside of you. So keep listening and find it. And I'll be here next week with you. Hope you'll be here. Bye. Do you want to dive deeper into the mindset of long-term weight release? Head on over to www.shiftweightmastery.com. That's www.shiftweightmastery.com, where you'll find numerous tools and resources to help you unlock your mind for permanent weight release, tips, strategies, and more. And be sure to check the show notes to learn more about my book, From Fat to Thin Thinking: Unlock Your Mind for Permanent Weight Loss.